You're listening to Nick DiPaolo on the Riotcast Network, riotcast.com.
Oh, yeah. It's that time again. It's another Monday. 6 Mondays or what? 1 Thursday in a week? Is that how it works? How are you, folks? Nick DiPaolo Show. 866-969-1969. 866-969-1969 is the phone number. What's happening? Me and my producer, Andy Fiore, fresh back from the road. And I do mean road. Cuba, New York on a Friday. Jesus Christ, was that some drive? Still, folks, I'll tell you right now, you've heard me say it on the show, I'll drive 1,000 miles before I have to go stand in the TSA line for 8 fucking minutes and deal with assholes laying across 9 seats and people farting on planes and screaming fucking babies and pompous TSA jerk-offs. And again, I'll drive to Cuba, the island of Cuba. This time it was Cuba, New York, and holy Christ. Had some guys come backstage, a couple, and they were bragging how they drove 3 states to see us, and they came from Cleveland. And then I found out that Cuba, New York's about an hour and a half from Cleveland. I had driven way further than they did. What are you bragging about? You should be high-fiving me and slapping me on the ass for seeing you. It was great, though. It was great. People at Cuba, New York came out. Not one Cuban in the bunch. They're known for making their own cheese and fudge. That was my opening joke. I go, you guys are known for making your own cheese and your own fudge. It's funny because when I eat cheese, I can't make my own fudge. And it was fucking rip-roaring from there, folks. It was. I'm talking stretches of highway. We didn't see a squirrel, a bird, a car. I mean, straightaways. I was doing about 108. Fiore goes, you're doing like 108. If we hit a deer, we're dead. I said, if we hit a deer, if we hit a moth, it's going to go through your chest like a hollow point bullet, leave an exit wound the size of a dinner plate. Are you fucking kidding me? A deer? A tick? A tick would be like a fucking diamond. Oh, but Waze. The Waze app. You got to know where the cops are. Both feet on the gas pedal. Not one on the both feet, one on top of the other on the gas pedal. We fell asleep at first, I think. I think we both fell asleep. I was behind the wheel. We both passed out for about 6 minutes, woke up. We were still straight on the narrow, breaking in the sound barrier. Nothing. No cops, no birds, no blood. The way driving's meant to be. And I'll say it again, I'd do that before taking another flight to Syracuse with Delta Airline waiting for some fat fucking stewardess who's late for work. Or me being molested by a white trash hillbilly who's got a boyfriend in Brooklyn with grill work. She's got a biracial kid, and she thinks I look like one of the guys on the Impractical Jokers. All I had to deal with was with Fury. That was it. 866-969-1960. That was Cuba, New York. They were great. It's a small room, but it was packed out, just the way we planned it. A lot of history, and then excuse me. I had something in my throat there. I ate 2 pretzel rods and
you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Anyways, then the next night was Cohoes, New York, which was a killer show, despite the efforts of our buddy Randy Knifka, the councilman from the 6th Ward Democrat. Despite his efforts. Oh, and did it ever, folks. Did it ever. They were killer. The mayor came out, Mayor Morse, Bill Smith, the other councilman who had a beef with Randy, he came out. The mayor's daughter was with the mayor. Pictures before the show. Holly Brown, the woman who runs the theater, couldn't be nicer. Asked me if I would shoot a special there after the show was over. Give you an idea how bad it went. It's tremendous. The people of Cohoes. It was a little tough. We got there early. We drove from Cuba. We didn't want to spend much more time in Cuba. No offense, Cuba people, you were great, but, we wanted to get the fuck out of there. We left there. I didn't know I was going to break the sound barrier on the way there. Me and Fiore told the promoter, we don't need a room. We'll time it. We'll get there maybe an hour or two before showtime. No, we got there 4 hours before showtime. And holy Christ, we went to some restaurant, ate a dinner that I didn't need. Had haddock, ate 8 pounds of buttery potatoes, was farting for 2 hours, stepped over homeless people in downtown, and way too early. I'm laying in a green room in a building that was built in 1777 by some midget Puritans. I'm laying on a dirty fucking rug, trying to take a nap. I got my gym bag under my neck. Nothing's happening. Go down the street. I bought a pack of cigarettes that I was going to get stabbed. And, Tommy, the promoter, goes, is there anything I can do to make this less boring? I go, Tom, this is show business. I said, we timed it wrong. It was on us. But this part of it's boring. The only part I enjoy is when I'm introduced. Let's be honest. And it was a killer show. The mayor was right up front with his daughter and the other councilman and ripping the tits off. And the stuff, the edgy stuff that was supposedly so controversial, he was laughing at the hardest. He looked like the mayor from Jaws. He looked just like that mayor. He had a suit jacket on, jeans, just a working class dude. I think I might have pissed the audience. I gave Randy a couple zingers. They had good-natured stuff, nothing mean-spirited. But the more I thought about it, the more I resented him dragging my name through the mud in public, saying I use the N-word and I'm racist and homophobic, all this horseshit. I'm glad I didn't think about it more than I did. So every once in a while I'd throw a zinger in there, but nothing too mean-spirited. And it was just, the show was terrific. The crowds up there are killer. They're working class people who are getting porked in the ass by guys, elitist assholes like Governor Cuomo, who pretends to help these people out. And they don't. And they're working class people, and they work hard, and they show up. Fiore killed. It was a sweet, both nights. All 4 shows so far. 2 weekends in a row. Just pleasurable. And, to have the mayor come out and bring his daughter before the show and get pictures, it was great. So, next weekend, I should say this weekend, Friday night, March 30th, the Nick is Right tour continues at the Regent Theater in Arlington, Mass. And the next night, Saturday, March 31st, at Tarrytown Music Hall. And then the following weekend, Friday, April 6th, the Red Hook Brewery in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And Saturday, April 7th, at the Bardavon Opera House in Poughkeepsie, New York. Go to nickdip.com for all those updates, tour updates, and ticket info and stuff like that. I tell you to follow us at DiPaolo Show SXM, but I don't think that's going to... I'm being shadow banned on my personal fucking Twitter. Am I supposed to believe they don't know about this one? Those elitist fuckstains who run the tech industry. I hope Zuckerberg gets spanked. Yeah, FTC's up his ass. It's unbelievable. So, good friggin' weekend of comedy. Beautiful. Stormy Daniels bags the best 60 Minutes ratings since the Obama post-election sit-down. Why was that such a rousing? Oh, that's right. He's the first African-American / Marxist president with his strong safety of a wife. Stormy Daniels. Again, a weatherman from Dallas. Let's throw it over Stormy Daniels. Her interview with Anderson Cooper. I like to call him Cooper Anderson because there is no difference. Huge ratings. Huge ratings. Sunday night, 60 Minutes hit 16.3/27 in the Nielsen metered markets. A big night for Stormy, being way up compared with the previous Sunday's 7.6. Back in November 16, 2008, the Obama's interview clocked and metered marked 17.4. Huge ratings. Yeah, who would have guessed? The president and, a fucking porn star. And I believe her. But so what? Pound it! Trying to stop it. So, yeah. Did you watch it at all, folks? Pretty good. She revealed that she got threatened, supposedly, by somebody in the Vegas parking lot after she said she was going to come forward with a story. I actually have audio of the threat. Nobody else seemed to find this. I did.
It's over. Capiche? Over and done. You call or go anywhere near him or his family, and they'll be scraping your nipples off these fine leather seats.
That's right. I got that audio exclusive here on the Nick DiPaolo Show. Faction Talk 103. Scraping her nipples off those fine. Of course, that was Patsy Parisi threatening Gloria on The Sopranos. Tony's girlfriend. I'm telling you. But here's the real Stormy Daniels. Did you guys watch it? It was pretty interesting. No, usually I can't, but come on. I fucking this was too much. They're doing everything to take this president down. I wanted to see what kind of horseshit she was spewing. Here's her explaining how the threat went down when she first said she was going to come forward.
I was in a parking lot going to a fitness class with my infant daughter. I was taking, the seats facing backwards in the back seat, diaper bag, getting all the stuff out. And a guy walked up on me and said to me, "Leave Trump alone, forget the story." And then he leaned around and looked at my daughter and said, "It's a beautiful little girl. It'd be a shame if something happened to her mom." And then he was gone.
Well, I don't know. I got to be honest, I'd probably believe that. It's a rough and tumble world out there. Politics, fucking porn industry. I'm sure you've been threatened worse than that. Maybe some, fucking Charles Barkley lookalike said, "I'm going to open your ass like a fucking ripe melon." Your first. She says she's coming forward now because she doesn't want people out there talking trash about her and lying. Yes, we don't want a fucking Sully that's pristine reputation you have of gobbling cock. 2 and 4, 4 and 2. 866-969-1969. 866-969-1969. Then Trump responded. It was one of Trump's lawyers responded to her telling that story on 60 Minutes.
You stupid fucking blabbermouth cunt!
And somebody picked that up. Once again, Faction Talk 103 right on top of it. 866-969-1960. I want to hear what you think. I believe it all. But so what? As long as you got Bill Clinton as a Democrat idol, it doesn't matter. You had tapes saying Trump liked to grab women's pussies before the election. He still won. He's the Teflon Don. It doesn't matter. Your guy on the left was a rapist. Supposedly. So, give me a fucking break. And you saw the Bill Maher's of the world, the cool liberal fucks. Trump ought to go up a notch in your eyes. I mean, it's all Bill Maher does is hire fucking hookers, I hear. And, the Playboy Mansion, he was a regular there. But yeah, let's fucking, who knows? I haven't watched Bill Maher. Maybe he's actually giving props to Trump. But I know but CNN and MSNBC, I know they're not. They're hanging on every word. When did Chris Wallace's daughter become such a douche? Such a left-leaning dude. Ooh, what else can we expect? So then there was a guy on there, a former FEC, chairman of the FEC, Federal Elections Commission, Trevor Potter, hired by Bush 1, I think, actually. He's saying the payoff, the $130,000 that she took from Trump to say she was going to keep her mouth shut about the affair, he's somehow saying that this can be considered a campaign contribution. Here's Trevor Potter, No relation to Harry.
Payment of the money just creates an enormous legal mess for, I think, Trump, for Cohen, and anyone else who was involved in this in the campaign.
Are you saying that can be seen as a contribution to benefit a campaign?
I am. It's a $130,000 in-kind contribution by Cohen to the Trump campaign, which is about $126,500 above what he's allowed to give.
Yeah.
And if he does
Round
this
it
on
up.
behalf of his client, the candidate, that is a coordinated, illegal, in-kind contribution by Cohen for the purpose of influencing the election, of benefiting the candidate by keeping this secret.
That's a fucking leap. Sorry, I'm no legal scholar. That's a leap. Cohen, by the way, said he took it out of his own pocket, you know. So whatever. I'm not going to pretend to be a lawyer here, but that sounds like a bit of a leap. That can be considered a campaign contribution. But who knows? And then you got Stormy Daniels' lawyer. This guy, oh my God. This guy's been on TV more than Billy Mays. Billy Mays? Yeah, he's the guy who used to do the Oxy.
Till you killed him.
Till I killed him. This guy, this Avante, her lawyer, is just a media savvy, steely cold. He was making the rounds. You know, all the hard-hitting shows, The View, MSNBC, CNN, all the ones that really going to push back. But I like him because he's a Gindalone. He's got fucking dead eyes. He was also a political operative. He worked for Rahm Emanuel. Yeah, so he doesn't have an axe to grind. Please, quit dog styling me. Here he is on, I think it was CNN.
We're going to prove that Mr. Cohen's statements to the American people are false. That at all times, Mr. Trump knew about this, knew about the $130,000, was fully aware of it, and with the assistance of Mr. Cohen, sought to intimidate and put my client under his thumb. That's what we're going to prove.
Counselor? Counselor?
And then they show they putting up this graphic. It's like a computer with it's a CD disc, supposedly. Who knows what's on that? They were asking him on the shows today, you know, whether that's video of Trump. It was a funny story. Did you hear? He gets her up in the room and he's bragging like you would, like Trump would. He's got like a Time magazine with him on the cover. He goes, "Did you see this?" And she goes, "Does this usually work for you?" And if I was Trump, I would have said, "Well, with fucking whores like you, take 12 dicks on film at a time. I thought it might, I thought it might close the deal, you pig." Does this usually work? Does this usually work for you? Would have taken a fucking Lysol can and put him, fucking whore. I don't want my they're saying I'm a liar out there. Can you imagine? Ay. And like I said, I believe all the shit she said. But if it wasn't important when dickhead, I'm talking about the rape allegations with Clinton, not the other shit. I didn't even agree with that. Who cares? But this is hilarious. Getting all sanctimonious on MSNBC and Chris Matthews foaming at the mouth. Oh, phew. It's a campaign contribution. I'm just picturing Trump. She said he's bent over his underwear and she was smacking him in the ass with a magazine. Oh my God, let's make this movie now. We'll have Gaffigan as Trump. I'll play Stormy Daniels. I'll even get chest implants just for the movie. Like De Niro, I get fat for the Raging Bull. It's unfriggin' believable. He didn't hold her down. It was consensual. Really breaking some ground, Dems. Anything, huh? Again, the Billy Bush tape, if that didn't take him down, I got a feeling people are going to sneeze at this. Now the left is looking like the squares. Oh, no. Oh. Extramarital affair. We got to get him out of it. Now who's the square? Our Father who art in heaven. By the way, speaking of heaven, Villanova won. Fiore's been floating on cloud nine.
Absolutely.
They
baby.
beat a very mediocre Texas Tech team. Didn't look good doing it either, I heard.
No.
That's what I heard from the experts. Hey. I know. Real quick, Brent in Maryland. Brent.
Yes, sir.
Wait a minute. It says Maryland, but you saw us in the Cuba show on Friday night?
Yeah. I'm a
What, you
truck
get
driver.
kidnapped?
I'm stuck in Maryland tonight.
Oh, you're stuck in Maryland tonight. Okay. But your home base is Cuba, New York?
No, my home base, I live in Pennsylvania, not too far from Elmira. I heard you mention that. I don't know if you went through there or not.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was like an hour and a half from me, but as soon as I heard you're going to be there when you first announced the tour, that's when I booked the tickets.
Very cool, Brent. Very cool. Don't say guy, say me. I'm the headliner. He's just an opening guy doing 20 mediocre minutes. But, I wish you fucking people would learn the difference.
I brought my girlfriend. She'd never heard either one of you guys, and I think she took to the young Santa a little bit more than you.
Yeah, well, you know what? That means I'm doing my job.
But yeah, you guys were both awesome, and if you ever come, anywhere close to me again, I'm definitely in to see you. It was a great show.
I want you to explain this to your girlfriend. The first lesson of comedy: the guy opening does 1/3 the time the headliner does. So in other words, I did 3 sets to his 1. Ask her what you think would be more difficult. Well, you got to explain these things, otherwise they go, "Hey, you guys were great," which we were. Fiore kills every night. That's why I got him opening. But I don't like to hear that shit. It really fucking gets under my skin. But she was a rookie. But you brought it to that show. She's not a virgin no more after that show.
Oh, no, she loved it. She had a great time, and I hope you guys didn't get asbestos poisoning.
I'm telling you, mesothelioma was dripping into the cheese in the deli platter backstage. All right, Brent, we appreciate that, buddy.
We have 3 Pennsylvania shows.
Oh,
good to talk to you guys. Hope to see you soon.
Thanks, Brent. I thought you were giving me the...
No. Although, you're pretty much there.
All right. Excuse me. Pardon me. Excuse me. Pardon me. Excuse me. John in New York wants to weigh in on the Stormy Daniels thing, and right before we go to break, go ahead, John.
Hey, Nick, how you doing?
What's happening, pal?
Oh, not much. I think she's full of shit.
About what specifically?
I think the whole deal.
Wait a minute.
First of all, why doesn't she bring out the deposit slip from the $130,000?
Deposit slip?
And yeah, she had to deposit that check in the bank somewhere.
She did? Maybe it was cash, John.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah, it usually is. A dirty, transaction. You don't fucking get it in a check, and And number two, what's so hard to believe about a fucking billionaire land developer, Trump, and wanting to bang a fucking porn star?
Yeah, I don't think he has to resort to that kind of trash.
Oh, okay.
I think she should show up on Howard Stern's show so he can ask her some real questions. Like, what's his penis look like? Let's get that out in the open.
Now there's your problem. You've been warped by Howard Stern's dick material, but who I love too, by the way. But I'm just saying. No, I find this very easy to believe, but it doesn't change anything. Is my point. But no, if you want to believe that.
But I mean, even in 2011 when she got threatened, I mean, wouldn't you go to the authorities and say, some people just threatened me?
No, John, you don't do that, because whoever threatened you hears that you went to the authorities, then you're fucking dead. That's how it works over here. When I say over here, I mean Sirius Radio, the building.
Well, usually, usually they don't warn you anyway. They just shoot you, don't they?
Where are you calling from, anyways? A monastery? And fucking, I got Monk John on line.
No, I'm driving truck, Nick. I'm just bringing a load of pigs up to New York City.
Load of pigs? Stop off at Trump Tower.
Oh, they go to the Chinese market down there,
Oh, a load of rats, you said.
Well, some of them are about that size.
All right, John. Good call, buddy.
All right.
Drive safe.
Yep,
Thanks. Tell us how Alice in Wonderland. I don't think that, you got a check. Yeah, you got a cashier's check made out to fucking Stormy Big Tits McDaniels. I don't think a guy would do a thing like that. Hey, Wally. Gee, babe, if Dad fucked Stormy Daniels, I don't know. Mom's still pretty, so that's kind of creepy and stuff. Did you get my message?
Yeah, I wrote you back last night.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
You better check your phone. I didn't get nothing, yo.
Dude, my phone is fucking...
Your phone is Mama Luke. All right, let's take a break. We'll talk more about the 60 Minutes interview. I enjoyed it. Again, that's one even I couldn't resist. I usually don't go for this gossip TMC horseshit, but come on. This is hilarious. It's hilarious what the Dems are doing to take him down. And I wanted to see what the next step was and how they're going to twist it. And they brought in that guy from the FEC saying this could be a campaign contribution, and whatnot. 866-969-1969.
You're listening to the Nick DiPaolo Show on Faction Talk, Sirius XM 103.
Go to Dave in D.C. who works half the week in Silicon Valley. Dave, what's going on?
Hey, so basically, when I saw that report this morning, over the weekend, I sat there and said, well, everybody's doing this. I mean, it's not a big surprise, and it's been going on for at least 5-7 years. The problem is we can ask for our privacy back, and trust me, I got out of Facebook. I don't have anything on, Instagram or Twitter or anything like that. You want to see some really evil shit? Read up on Uber and what they did to avoid, the self-driving and the cops and whatnot. They actually were able to essentially isolate individual phones, and they gave them fake cars to basically, they would put out calls for Lyft drivers and basically put in fake calls, and they wouldn't, as a result, these drivers were leaving Lyft and going to Uber. All sorts of awful stuff. But the point is that all that data gets pulled, and it never goes away. And everybody talks about that. Once you post on the internet, that's it. But between that and the market research from, places like Nielsen,
yeah,
they tie all this stuff together. So you buy something at the store,
right,
from wherever, then that data broker, like if you're using a loyalty card or whatever,
yeah,
that data goes to a marketer. And that may, in fact, it may be Facebook, it may be any number of those things, and then they can correlate that to your online activity.
And that's why
there's a lot worse
and that's why I know, but we're not all aware of it, Dave. You work in Silicon Valley, so you're more aware of this shit. I wouldn't know, but I do know that's why they're trying to get rid of cash. It's going to make all that even easier, right?
Yeah, but and that's the thing. Like, people think Bitcoin's not traceable. That's kind of the common myth. It is traceable, and most of it, I'm not saying it's bad. I think it's the future, but, people are kidding themselves that they think they can be private anymore. And I do everything I can, to keep my persona or whatever off the web at this point. But you can't stop it.
I'm doing everything I can to put it on the web.
Shut them down. Yeah, nothing but dick pics.
No, I'm an entertainer. We use it for fucking promotion purposes. That's all it's good for me, and it works.
Sorry, I thought I was talking to Jim Norton for a minute. I'm sorry.
Yes, let's not confuse the two ever, please.
Yeah.
What do you do in Silicon Valley, Dave?
Basically, I just work on projects. I go back and forth. There's a little bit of lobbying and all that, but mostly it's just projects. I got a dull existence most of the time. So, but hey, that's why I listen to your show, and why I love comedy. You got to have some fun while you're driving in this shit. Otherwise, you're just gonna beat somebody on the side of the road.
No, you're exactly right, Dave. So, good call, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, definitely. Thank you. You have a good night.
Take care. Didn't understand a word he said. Anyways, all I know is if it's not the government collecting, it's, what's the difference? Facebook is a government now. How about that Zuckerberg's right from Dobbs Ferry here in Westchester, right down the street from me, about 15 miles. I'm going to visit his parents. Be a shame if something happened to Mr. and Mrs. Zuckerberg. I say that messing around. Of course, tonight something's going to happen. Mrs. Zuckerberg's going to slip in the shower. I fallen. I fucking... Whatever. 866-969-1969. Who has deleted their Facebook account or Twitter accounts because of this type of nonsense? Call me now, all one of you. I'm still on Twitter and I'm shadow banned. My people aren't even seeing my shit. Unbelievable. My number's going backwards. Cum stains. Each and every one of them. You know, there's a left like to. It's been fun watching the lib media play these kids, too, all weekend. These fucking little. I'm starting to hate these kids now. This is going to increase school shootings if they don't fucking watch themselves. Seriously, that David Hogg, that little fucking weasel. We're listening to him. I put on I don't know, MSNBC. They have 3 black teens on there who are illiterate. I'm supposed to. This is how we're going to make fucking politics. Seriously. And, well, they're all, fucking any teenager. Campus reform went on. Asking kids at the rally, do they know what an assault weapon is? Not one of them could answer it. Oh, my God. Fucking, and the lib media's playing these kids for all it's worth. Meanwhile, Soros is probably shelling out the fucking money for the buses and but it's all organic. They're fucking kids. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I don't give a shit if they're through a trauma or not. It's not how you make policy. It's fucking ridiculous. Look at Rachel Maddow just pounding it out. Working extra hard. So let's talk about basketball. Fiore went to Villanova. Very excited on Friday night. Couldn't keep it in his pants. And so they will be facing Kansas, I believe.
Yes.
Which they beat Duke, was it?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And then we get the Cinderella over there.
Loyola Chicago.
With the nun in her late hundreds in the chair.
Yes,
and
Sister Jean.
Played
Michigan.
And they're playing Michigan. So, seed-wise, the 4 left. Who's Villanova won?
Villanova, Kansas 1 seeds. And if you want to go overall, Villanova was the number 2. And
no, out of the 4 that's left, how would they go?
It would go Villanova, Kansas, Michigan, Loyola, Chicago. Good chance to win it all.
And again, I watched the games, looked at the wife. I go, look, we're 5 minutes into the game. It's a 2-point lead. I go, watch this. Switched over to the Bruins or whatever was on. Went back an hour and a half later, 4 minutes left, 2-point lead. I don't know how you guys do it. I don't get it. And I noticed the shooting is not what it was from the outside like it used to be. They would go watch old clips of Duke when Bobby Hurley was there and Redick. They would drain. These guys can't shoot foul shots either. It's all one-on-one shit. It's still exciting as hell. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, but it's flawed, man. Well, you love hockey. When somebody takes a slap shot and scores in hockey, even if it's 5 minutes into the game, that might hold up. That's why you're excited when there's offense in it. I just don't understand watching 2 teams trading baskets for 2 fucking hours before it means anything. And if that doesn't happen, that means one team went on a run and it's a blowout. Somebody, please. And yes, they're great athletes and all that, and the tremendous. Okay, it does get exciting though, boy. This ought to be terrific.
Oh, I can't wait.
Huh? Kansas, Villanova?
I can't wait.
Fiore is thrilled. He's out of his. There was a guy working the cube at there who also went to Villanova back in 1871, and him and Andy were joined at the hips the whole time. Matt in Arizona wants to talk about Ultimate and Gun Company. Matt, what's up?
Hey, Nick. So you just mentioned George Soros and the whole gun stuff and everything. There's a big conspiracy theory in the gun world going around about how George Soros, who owns Cerebras Capital, this just happens to own the Remington Outdoor Company, which is ROC. And 2 days after George Soros bankrupted Chapter 11 Remington, the Parkland shooting occurred.
Okay, I'm trying to put that together and how that would work, but I don't have the mind.
Well, everybody knows that gun sales only spike and rise when there's fear of gun revolution.
Confiscation. Yeah.
Exactly. So
yes.
Soros went about a year under Trump with very, very limited gun sales. Gun sales went down about 60% across the country.
Yeah.
And so this is a conspiracy theory in the gun world that something happened there where Soros basically files Chapter 11. There's a shooting in the school, and now we have 4 or 5 weeks now of constant gun marches and everything. Meanwhile, there's this guy in Maryland saves 2 people,
and you don't hear anything about it.
And you don't hear boo about this guy who's a national goddamn hero, and you can't find him on the news anywhere.
I noticed that, even myself. I remember reading that going, oh, well, I'll see this on TV tonight. And, you know, maybe Tucker might have mentioned it, but nowhere to be found. Nothing but these kids. And again, I'm not, you know, I feel for what they, first of all, these, you know, I don't know how many millions were marching this week, and they all weren't victims of gun violence, and their friends, they didn't watch their friends get shot, number one. And number two, an NRA member has never killed anybody. Is that correct?
True.
It's just fucking. I keep putting on CNN, MSNBC, and then there's this Cuban girl with a shaved head. She's like 17. She's got a jacket with a Cuba flag on it. She's already angry. She's already a hateful little fucking radical because, you know, the boys didn't like her or whatever. You could just see who they go after, and it's like radicalizing people online, like ISIS. They get the guys that have no fucking parents, no life, no. And boy, the media playing these kids, and they're playing, and they're part of it. It's really sickening, isn't it, Matt?
Without a doubt, these last 5 or 6 weeks have been just a microcosm of just how manipulative the mainstream media can be. I mean, you have a horrific incident in Parkland. I mean, everybody is, you know, terrified by a situation like this. Of course. And then you have our president come out and say, okay, this is what I think we need to do. We're going to work with the NRA. We're going to arm people. It's the best solution to a problem that we have. Right. And then it actually happens. His exact solution actually happens and stops another potential mass murder.
And it gets shoved under the rug.
And you don't hear anything about it. It's unbelievable. I mean, in any sane world or sane media environment, they would say, hey, wow, look at this. This is a perfect example of what can happen if we do have trained, armed people in a school. This was potentially another situation where there could have been major fatalities, and it was completely stopped by a good person with a gun. I
kind of blame the Trump administration for that. That's sort of like with George W. Never fought. Somebody in the Trump administration, other than Sarah Sanders Huckabee, whatever her name is, should be out there pointing that out on every show.
Yeah, I guarantee you, though, that somebody on the inside of the Trump administration, right or wrong, I don't know the answer to that, but they probably said, you can't throw this back in the public's face. It will be completely insensitive.
Well, yeah.
We're still reeling from the last situation. You can't go out and say, hey, guess what, guys? I was right. Look, it totally works.
Well, yeah, don't have Trump do it, but have, you know, somebody under him do it, a press secretary mention it or whatever, but you're exactly right. They've pounded that children angle, which the Dems love to do. Anytime, you know, I mean, they bring it into any issue. It could be taxes, it could be immigration, always working that child angle. And if you say these kids are, you know, full of shit, we shouldn't be listening to them, you're just a fucking cold-hearted bigot and you hate kids. I mean, they work that. And the only reason that works is because all the mainstream media is complicit in it.
Yep.
It's tiring. It really is.
It's just another angle that if big government isn't here to take care of you, the world is going to give a shit. Let us do everything. Meanwhile, everything that the big government touches goes to complete hell in a handbasket.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Matt, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
All right, Nick, take care.
Brian in California. What's this? Woodson got fired?
Hey, Becky.
Brian.
It's Brian. It's Jack Tatum's caddy.
Oh. How do you like that, Frank? This guy he was Jack Tatum, former Oakland Raider, the late great Jack Tatum. Literally his golf caddy. And what's going on?
Right.
What's going on?
Hey, listen,
Brian.
Well, you know, I just want to give you a quick call. I haven't been able to call in a few weeks, but you know what's going on now here in California. With what's going on with Sessions, do you think there's going to be anything going on in the future, like say before the November elections?
Right.
Can we get these libtards out of the way so we can actually have a state that actually makes sense? And that's A. B, do you ever see California being one or two states like North Carolina, South Carolina? You know, I'm not stupid, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, Northern California and Southern California. Yeah. I don't know. It's all so liberal. I mean, in the South, you got Hollywood, which I mean, Christ's sake, they're the exporters of this liberal horseshit all over the world, never mind just in our country. And then you got Silicon Valley. Could you get any more up north?
Where do you split it?
I don't know. Where are you going to split it? Sacramento, fucking Bakersfield? I don't know. I don't know the state. I don't have a map. But I don't know. If I lean right in my politics, I'd get out of there.
But I worked in the Silicon Valley for 12 years. Well, actually, I still do.
Porn?
But I don't work in the valley. But for 12 years, I worked there, and I just didn't open my mouth because I didn't share their liberal point of views.
Right.
And if I did, I'd have been just ran out of there. So you come over to the central, northern, kind of the more Republican side of the state, and you're more accepted, obviously.
Right.
But my point being is, I think there's going to be a revolution in California, and whether you like it or not, people are tired of what's going on the left coast. And when I say the left coast, you lived out here.
Yeah.
That whole beach community from San Francisco all the way down to San Diego.
Well, now hold on, Brian. What will you say a revolution? What kind? I think you mean a kind of a civil war within the state.
No, not as. I mean, I'm being facetious, but I mean, there's going to be people like not taking up arms, but there's going to be people. They're tired. Well, actually, there's people. They're very tired of this. We're the silent majority. The major majority are on the coast, and you know this. You've been there, and it's a joke because California is not what you would think it would. It actually is. People throughout the country have never been to California. They think it's all Hollywood and beach and sand, and you see movie stars.
No,
bullshit.
No.
People go hunting and fishing, and that's what they do.
It's a beautiful state
the majority
physically.
of the people.
Right. It's the reason it's so many people attracted to it back in the day to go to. It's physically beautiful. Offers something for everyone, but it's been tainted by fucking Hollywood and Silicon Valley and I know Orange County used to be Republican and shit, but I got to believe that's shrinking. And between that and illegals, it's a fucking mess. And people leaving in droves. The numbers don't lie. For the last 10 years, no state has had more people leave it than California. I've read that a few times.
So that leads me to my last question because I know you got to run.
Yeah.
Is
not really.
What you're
Take your
saying,
time.
The people that are running, and I'm telling you, I'm a native California. I want to go. And I'm sure there's people listening to your show going, you know what, Brian, get the fuck up and go. That's fine. But I'm telling you right now, it is more liberals coming in, and the Republicans don't have a say, or the independents. And the bottom line is, like you said, Orange County used to be somewhat, 50-50%.
Right.
Now it's probably 80-20%. And I'm guesstimating just from the poll figures.
Yeah.
I can't see how somebody could stay here and survive based on the political upbringings of when you bring in Jerry Brown twice and his father once, you're a fuck. And Galvin Newsom is the next
governor. Yeah,
your ass over T-Bell.
All right.
But the thing is, I mean, I don't know how you leave. The girl from Giovanni or whatever her name is from Fox News. But, I mean, come on. The guy's got problems.
All right, Bri. Good call.
I'm sure it was.
No, it was. Thank you.
All right. God bless. I'll talk to you later.
I'm wrapping up the show. I appreciate the call. Real quick. Dates. I'll rip through. 5 of 4. This weekend, see me and Mr. Fiore, the Regent Theater, Arlington, Mass. That's Friday night. Saturday night, Tarrytown Music Hall, Tarrytown, New York. April 6th, Red Hook Brewery, Portsmouth, New Hampshire. April 7th, the Bardavon, Poughkeepsie, New York. April 13th, the Paramount Theater, Rutland, Vermont. April 14th, Barrington Stage Company, Pittsfield, Mass. April 20th, Cortland Repertory Theater, Cortland, New York. April 21st, Steel Stacks, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. April 27th, Majestic Theater, Pottsville, PA. April 28th, the Kirby Center, Wilkes-Barre, PA. And in May 4th, Jonathan's, Algonquin, Maine. And the final leg of this tour, May 5th, Schubert Theater, New Haven, Connecticut. And go to nicktip.com for the ticket information. It's been great so far. The guy, Tommy, that's running this and promoting this thing has done a tremendous job. And we've had a great time as long as we stay away from the airports. But anyways, that is about it, kids. Thank you to all the callers tonight. You are the lifeblood of the show. And remember, you think it, I'll say it. You're welcome. Good night, America.